This is Tina Douglas, and you're listening to the Liam Photography Podcast with your host, my husband, Liam Douglas. Enjoy!
All right, so first of all, I want to give an editorial note. Now, the DJI shell company story is presented as an allegation and regulatory investigation, not as a proven fact. The FCC proposed a $25,000 in penalties concerning alleged failures to respond to letters of inquiry. Likewise, patent infringement claims by DJI and Insta360 are allegations unless until they are completely adjudicated. So I did want to make that abundantly clear right from the start. Welcome back to the Liam Photography Podcast. This week we have a fascinating set of stories that all intersect around two of the most aggressive imaging companies in the market, DJI and Insta360. Now, DJI is under intense U.S. regulatory pressure, while products that look remarkably similar to DJI hardware keep appearing under other brand names. Insta360 has just launched the X6. It still has another Luna gimbal camera waiting in the wings, and at the same time, DJI and Insta360 are fighting over patents in both the United States and China. Okay, so for our first story, DJI has faced years of escalating security and supply chain concerns. The practical issue for consumers is not that every previously authorized DJI product has suddenly become illegal to own. Rather, the new radio frequency products need FCC equipment authorization to be legally marketed and sold in the United States. And new DJI equipment has faced major authorization and import obstacles. As DJI's U.S. position tightened, unfamiliar brands began selling drones and cameras with conspicuous similarities to DJI products. Extra technology became especially visible in the camera space, while Sky Rover branded drones drew attention for DJI-like hardware and behavior. That triggered a larger question. Are these independent companies using similar designs, licensing, or sourcing technology, or are some entities being used to reroute DJI-associated equipment around U.S. restrictions? Now, public evidence has prompted regulatory scrutiny, but DJI has not publicly confirmed that the companies are its shell companies. Now, the 8 companies targeted by FCC enforcement are as follows: Cogito Tech, Fixio Technology, Lino Dynamics, Sky High Tech, Spatial Hover, SZ Noact Robot Technology, WaveGo Tech, and Extra Technology. Now, in July of 2026, the FCC Enforcement Bureau proposed a $25,000 in penalties against all of these companies for apparently willfully failing to respond to investigative letters of inquiry. The key point for the show, the $25,000 figure is not a fine or for having been proven to be a DJI shell company. It is an enforcement action tied to alleged noncompliance with FCC information requests. Subsequent FCC action has raised the possibility of much broader consequences, including scrutiny of equipment, authorizations associated with the companies, and additional attention on XAG. If regulators conclude that authorized products or certification channels are being used to circumvent restrictions applicable to covered foreign equipment, then the FCC mechanisms could affect whether those products remain lawfully marketable in the United States. The strongest framing is not DJI created 8 shell companies as a settled fact. A more defensible line is U.S. regulators are investigating a network of companies whose products and technology have raised questions about links to DJI or attempts to circumvent restrictions. The FCC's enforcement posture shows that regulators are taking those questions very seriously. And I just did want to throw in my own 2 cents here. I have not looked at any of these companies' products other than on their websites, and the similarities are striking. However, I have seen numerous videos and news articles online that various facilities, I guess you could say, in the U.S. have actually examined the software for like the extra gimbal cameras and action cameras, as well as done a full breakdown of them. And they actually found DJI's name in the software at the software level. So even though the app is branded as extra technology, there's references to DJI by its company name all throughout the software if you take a look at it at the software level. So definitely an interesting bit there as far as that goes. Now, the next story is Insta360's X6, the new flagship 360 camera. Now, Insta360 officially launched the X6 on August 12th, 2026, and this is a major generational update rather than a cosmetic refresh, with a stronger emphasis on professional image quality, high frame rate 8K capture, and more capable in-camera processing pipeline. Now, I'm going to go over the specs with you. I do have my own X6 that'll be coming this Sunday, and I'm looking forward to it. So for the specs, we have dual custom 1/1.1 inch square Sony sensors. Insta360 markets the system as delivering 1 inch equivalent 360 imaging. The sensors provide about 33% more sensor area than the current X5. The camera is capable of 8K at up to 50 frames per second. It can capture 10-bit and Insta360 iLog for color grading workflows. It has native in-camera Dolby Vision support, which is huge. Triple chip AI processing architecture supporting computational imaging and AI features. Now, in single lens mode, the camera can be used as an action camera for up to 5K at 60 frames per second. For stills, it can do up to 120 megapixel 360 degree photos, up to 42 megapixels in single lens use. It has a 2.3 inch OLED touchscreen, a 2600 milliamp hour Insta360 battery that they rate roughly for 140 minutes at 8K 30 under its test conditions. The camera also has 60 gigabytes of internal storage capacity with about 47 gigabytes usable, just like the Luna Ultra, plus micro SD expansion slot. It has an IP68 waterproofing for up to 20 meters or 66 feet without a dive case, replaceable and more scratch-resistant lenses. Now, the price for this new camera is $699.99 in the U.S., and that is for the standard package. So you don't get any of the extras like the Creator Combo or Essentials Combo or anything like that. Now, the larger sensors are particularly meaningful for 360-degree video because creators commonly reframe only a portion of the spherical image. More sensor area, stronger low-light processing, and 10-bit iLog give editors more latitude before the crop becomes visibly compromised. The X6 also pushes Insta360 further into professional post workflows while retaining consumer-friendly AI features such as InstaFrame and PanoMind. So those are definitely going to be some big things. And honestly, I'm really excited. Like I said, my X6 is coming this Sunday in a couple of days, and I am really looking forward to it. One of the things that I enjoyed the most about this new design, they made the camera smaller than their previous 360 cameras, but it does look like it's a little bit beefier. But one of the big things I do like, and I just watched David Manning's YouTube video about the camera, is instead of on all the previous models from the X1 to the X5, the battery and the battery door were all a single component. So you pinched two triggers on the door and you pulled, and the battery and door came out as a single unit. Now, apparently, after watching Dave's video on the X6, they changed things up, and there is an actual door that opens, and then the battery removes separately like it does on the Ace Pro 2 and and other more current action cameras like their, well, I guess I should say the Ace Pro and the Ace Pro 2 primarily. Now, what would be cool is if in the future, when they release the Ace Pro 3, they would make it so that camera used the exact same battery as the X6, because then you could get a couple of spare batteries, 3 or 4 of them, get the Insta360 rapid charger box that you put 2 batteries in at a time, and that would make a very cool setup, and you would only need 1 set of batteries when you're out in the field filming all day, and I would absolutely love that. That would be fantastic, and I'm sure I'm not the only one that thinks that. I think that would get everybody, all the users of these cameras excited to have that change. Now, the Luna Pro should not be confused with the Luna Ultra. This is our next story. Insta360's dual lens Luna Ultra is already a shipping product. It launched globally on June 10th at $769.99 with a 1-inch 8K main camera and a secondary 1/1.3-inch telephoto camera. Leica Summicron optics, 10-bit iLog, Dolby Vision, 3-axis stabilization, and a detachable OLED remote display that has all of the camera's controls as well as a microphone that's built into the top, which is very handy. Now, this is what we know so far about the Luna Pro. The Luna Pro is the other member of the family. It is a single-lens pocket gimbal camera that was teased / shown during the 2026 trade show cycle, including at NAB in Las Vegas. Now, unlike the Luna Ultra, it has not yet received a complete retail launch with a final public specification sheet. That means the podcast should clearly separate confirmed facts from expectations, which is what I'm doing now. Now, confirmed positioning, a single-lens Luna model versus the Ultra's dual camera arrangement. Confirmed status, publicly teased and revealed, but still pending a full commercial announcement as of today, August 14th of 2026. Now, do not automatically assign every Luna Ultra feature to the Luna Pro until Insta360 tells us otherwise and gives us the final specs. Likely a strategic role, a simpler and potentially less expensive direct competitor to DJI's conventional single camera Osmo Pocket formula. Now, the Pro may ultimately be the higher volume Luna if Insta360 can preserve the core large sensor 3-axis gimbal and creator-focused experience while removing the Luna's second camera and reducing its price. It becomes a very direct Osmo Pocket alternative, and I'm sure that would be extremely exciting on the market. Now, for my 2 cents, I think I'm hoping that when they do release the specs for the Luna Pro, that it has the same 1-inch sensor as the Luna Ultra does for its primary sensor at the same 20 millimeter field of view. I think that would be fantastic. Now, we would only have the 1, 2, and possibly 3 times zoom, how well that would work on a single lens only camera. But I believe on the Luna Ultra, the 1, 2, and 3 times zoom is all handled by the main camera. And then the farther zooms, 6 and 12, are handled by the telephoto camera. But I could be wrong on that. All right, for our next story, the product rivalry has become a legal rivalry, and the companies are fighting over intellectual property covering both gimbal camera technology and 360-degree imaging. Now, this is between DJI and Insta360, with litigation appearing in China and briefly in the Eastern District of Texas. In March of 2026, DJI confirmed that it had sued Insta360 in China over 6 patents. Reporting described the disputed technology as involving drone flight control, structural design, and imaging technology. DJI also raised concerns about patent applications associated with former DJI employees who later joined Insta360. Those are DJI's allegations. The filing itself does not establish infringement or any kind of wrongdoing. So I just wanted to make my audience aware of that. This is just ongoing litigation. Nothing's been determined or established as of right now, the recording of this show. So on June 10th and June 11th, 2026, DJI entities filed 2 patent cases against Insta360 entities in the U.S. District Court for the Eastern District of Texas. Marshall Division, the federal dockets are case numbers 226-CV-00462 and 2.26CV-00463. The complaints arrived essentially alongside the U.S. launch of the Luna Ultra and targeted technology associated with Insta360's Luna gimbal camera line. Now, contemporary reporting described DJI's asserted portfolio as including design and utility patents related to pocket gimbal camera technology, including aspects of gimbal control, tracking, control, behavior, and display physical design. The important legal qualifier is that a complaint is an allegation, not a finding that Luna infringes on DJI's patents. Now, to strike back, on June 11th, Insta360, or Arishi Vision, and related parties filed 2 patent cases of their own against DJI entities in the same district. And those dockets are 2.26-CV-00466 and 467. Now, Insta360 asserted 5 utility patents covering technology reported as gimbal stabilization, directional control, camera smooth stabilization, telemetry, overlay, and panoramic video stabilization. The accused DJI product families reported in connection with Insta360's claims include the Osmo Pocket, the Ronin RS, Osmo Mobile, and Osmo 360. That makes the fight broader than a simple Luna versus Pocket dispute. It reaches both stabilized gimbal products and 360-degree camera technology. Now, the 4 Texas actions were voluntarily dismissed without prejudice around June 28th or 29th of 2026. Now, without prejudice is important. It generally means the dismissal is not a merits judgment and does not by itself prevent the claims from being brought again. No public settlement explaining the withdrawals was announced in the reporting reviewed for these cases and in the notes accompanying these particular cases. The disappearance of the Texas cases, therefore, did not end the broader DJI Insta360 IP conflict. The companies remained adversaries in China's patent proceedings. For listeners, the cleanest way to describe the situation is that the U.S. courtroom skirmish was withdrawn while the underlying technology and patent disputes continue on their home turf in China. And it turns out that DJI and Insta360 are also headquartered in the exact same city in China. So that could definitely get interesting. But why does this legal fight matter? Well, DJI helped define the modern pocket gimbal camera category. Insta360 is now entering that category aggressively with their Luna line. Insta360 is the dominant consumer 360-degree camera brand, while DJI has moved directly into 360 imaging with their Osmo 360. Each company is therefore attacking the other in a category where the other has deep product history and intellectual property holdings. Now, the litigation is unfolding while DJI faces unusual U.S. regulatory constraints, which gives the commercial battle an additional geopolitical dimension. So at the moment, that's where things stand. FCC is looking much more closely at companies selling DJI-like equipment in the United States. Insta360 has raised the bar again with the X6. Another Luna camera is still waiting in the wings. And DJI and Insta360 are now battling not only for customers, but also over who owns key pieces of the technology behind all of these cameras. This is one of those stories where regulatory and intellectual property and camera innovation are all colliding at once. And I'll be watching closely to see what happens next. And of course, we'll keep you informed on this weekly podcast. All right, so that is going to wrap up episode 514 of the Liam Photography Podcast. I want to thank you all for listening or watching the show to the end. It is now a video podcast each week, and that's exciting. I'm enjoying doing it as a video show now. And I did want to remind my listeners, if you haven't already, make sure you go to the description for this episode and click the link to enter my 100,000 plus subscriber giveaway over on my YouTube channel, where you can have a chance to win one of 2 prizes that are going to be given away. The contest is running until mid-October, if I remember correctly. All right, I will see you all again next week.